Good evening. Today I want to talk about the most common disability of all and why without this humanity would be centuries behind where it is today. This most common disability is problems with eyesight, short-sightedness and long-sightedness. Now, without these, our science and medicine would be very backward. The reason for this is that the telescope and the microscope, these were actually invented within a few years of each other at the end of the 16th and beginning of the 17th centuries. Both of them were invented by Dutch lens grinders. Now, if everyone was perfect in the way Hitler wanted us to be, genetically perfect, no problems with our eyesight or anything else for that matter, then why would there be any lens grinders? Lens grinding is an incredibly difficult task. Why would anyone bother if there weren't lots of people prepared to buy spectacles? And without, say, 3 centuries of lens grinding practice before these inventions, how would anyone have even begun using them? How would anyone have noticed that glass can create wonderful magnification? Where would our medicine be without microscopes? Would we ever have discovered germ theory? It's doubtful. Where would our astronomy be without telescopes? Would we have discovered Uranus, Neptune and Pluto? Would we have discovered other galaxies? Of course we wouldn't. But this isn't the only example of adversity creating opportunity. Let's look at glass in total. Without glass, we wouldn't have had a scientific revolution. We wouldn't have had test tubes, as I've already mentioned, microscopes and telescopes, but no test tubes, no barometers, and the same goes for clocks, mechanical clocks. They are also the embodiment of the European scientific revolution. Without them, we would be nowhere. Now, the reason clocks and glass are centered in Northern Europe and nowhere else is because of our bad weather. We're a wet, windy, miserable part of the world, Northern Europe. And if we weren't so wet, maybe we wouldn't have bothered with glass windows. Maybe we'd have just had paper windows like Japan or wooden shutters like in Southern Europe. Without our icy cold winters, would we have bothered with mechanical clocks? Maybe we would have ended up using sundials or water clocks like they do in Southern Europe, which of course is no good. Water clocks would freeze, sundials, well, how often do we get the sun in this country? Not very often. Yeah. And without clocks, there would have been no machine tools industry. Without glass, there would have been no chemical industry. Yeah? But man himself is a disabled animal. Man doesn't grow sharp claws. Man doesn't have razor-sharp teeth. We're not incredibly fast. We don't produce venom. We have to use our brain. We've had to develop a brain to counterbalance all these deficiencies. Once again, disability is actually productive. It pushes people to try harder. Now take a scenario like the American Indians who used to live on the Pacific coast of North America. There, food was so easy to get. Masses of fish in the rivers, masses of game in the forests, lots of berries to pick, that agriculture never even developed. And without agriculture, there is no proper civilization. By contrast, in Europe, the main crop is wheat, which is very difficult to grind, so we have to build windmills, which in turn feeds into clockwork. And of course, warlike societies themselves are the most inventive. Imagine where our rocket and computer industries would be without World War II. Now, of course, the people who died in those wars can't benefit from them, so I'm not saying war is a good thing. All I'm saying is that adversity produces inventive talent. That's why we shouldn't be too bothered about the credit crunch, because hopefully it'll only wheedle out weak businesses which frankly don't deserve to survive. Well, come to think of it, what about the internet itself? That was invented by the military. Lots of people on the internet hate war, of course, and justly so. But doesn't that say something? To conclude then, don't be ashamed of disability. Don't be frightened of crunch. Don't be afraid of adversity. It produces enormous talent. Thank you.